Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Debrief as Liverpool have beaten Southampton 3-1. The Reds have done business in their last game of Premier League football until Boxing Day. I'm Tom Greaves, joined by Tom Cavilla to take a look back on all the talking points from today's victory over the Saints. As always, get yourself involved in the comments, and we'll try to get to some of the best ones before the finish. Tom, what are your initial thoughts on the back of that performance?
I thought it was a really good performance on the whole from Liverpool. They also had that quick start with Roberto Firmino's goal. Southampton then equalised fairly soon after that, and we sort of saw the best of Liverpool in that towards the end of the first half, and then in the second half it was a little bit more comfortable for them. Darwin Nunez in particular, really caught the eye. Southampton didn't struggle to contain him throughout the game. Thiago, I thought, really impressive in midfield. It's just what Liverpool needed going into this break before the World Cup, back into the top six, building on that Tottenham win from last weekend. So, it's a real positive result, even though Klopp wasn't on the sideline. I'm sure he would have been pleased from what he was watching up in the stands, getting a different perspective on it. But, it's a really encouraging 3 points for Liverpool.
Yeah, he looked like he had a smile on his face at the end of the game then. On the whole, I do think this upcoming break will be a positive for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp referred to it as like another pre-season, and obviously it gives some players a chance to recuperate and get back to top fitness, the likes of Luis Diaz. But it's almost a bit of a shame to break up now after this little period of positive results, isn't it? We've obviously beaten Napoli, Spurs, gone through in the Carabao Cup against Derby, and then today. So in the end, it's actually kind of stopped that momentum, hasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Like you say, Liverpool just looked like they were just finally clicking into gear after weeks of sort of stop-start results in terms of thinking they turned the corner and then another bad performance following on. So today was an example of Liverpool sort of building on that performance, strong performances against Napoli and Tottenham. And like you say, it's now coming to a halt, so it'll be interesting to see when they do come back, how much of an impact it's going to have in terms of how long it's going to take them to get back up to speed. And we don't know quite how the squad's going to look like when they come back as well, in terms of injuries from players at the World Cup. You'd think Liverpool may even come back even stronger with the likes of Jota and Diaz being available again when the action returns in December. So no, I think Liverpool will be encouraged by the end they've had to this sort of mini spell before the break, but I think they'll fancy themselves to sort of pick up where they left off when they come back, just like I said, because of those players that they'll have back at their disposal. They've looked a bit, when you looked at options on the bench, it has looked a little bit limited at times, especially in the last few weeks. There's not really been that sort of player you look at to bring on and make a real difference in attack, especially. So, that having them back is going to be a major boost. And we've seen with Man City today, they've lost at home to Brentford. We don't know how teams are going to come back after this, so Liverpool can't really rule themselves out of anything at this stage.
Yes.
The title may be too far, slightly the way Arsenal are going, but Liverpool have every chance to keep climbing the table when they come back.
Yeah, and I think some of the players are starting to look really good as well. Like Darwin Nunez is really looking comfortable in red, isn't he? He gets the goals, but there's some other pieces of play where he's really impressive. There was a back heel to Firmino, which he probably should have put away, and there was a ball to Salah in the first half across the box from the left. He just seems to be everywhere across the front line, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think what I liked about him today was his movement in particular, especially for his first goal. The ball that was chipped over to him from Harvey Elliot, just before it's played, you can see him sort of moving back out to make sure he's onside. So he's well onside when we saw the replay of the goal, but just a couple of seconds before that, he was in an offside position. So he, just using his intelligence there to time the run perfectly. And for the second goal, obviously, again, reacting to what's going on around him, sliding in at the front post to score a second goal. And he's had his fair share of critics, hasn't he, this season, but I think he's really starting to prove people wrong now, that we're sort of questioning his transfer fee and whether he'd fit into the style of play at Liverpool. So, it's credit to him, really. He's hit the ground running. He's been a great signing, I think, so far. I know a lot's been made about Mane replacing Mane, but I think fans have got to sort of move on from that and And you're looking at Nunez, and he's a player that's just slotted straight into the attack. And I think he should be starting now every week, because there was that period at the start of the season, where it was like, oh, will he play? Won't he? How will he fit into the system? And maybe these injuries to Diaz and Jota have actually just proven, to fans, he should be playing every game. And it's going to be interesting to see how Klopp approaches that actually when they come back, in terms of how how you get them all on the same pitch at the same time. But well, you can't is the simple answer. But who misses out is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of options up at the top when everyone's fit. So it will be interesting to see the way he goes. But Roberto Firmino has had another good game today. Donny's been in the chat saying Firmino not in the Brazil squad is shocking. He was absolutely class today. And Firmino is a player that I did just want to touch on. He was really unlucky to be excluded from that Brazil squad, wasn't he? And it was another good performance and a goal for him today, only adding to his already impressive statistics for this season.
Yeah, I think Firmino was, obviously it's a great header actually for the first goal. And got a big applause when he was substituted in the second half. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a, not a revival, but it's like a refresh Firmino this season, in terms of the last year or two he hasn't quite been at the same level we've seen in previous years. Obviously he's getting on now. He's past 30. That's the age players slow down a little bit. Not everyone, of course. Benzema proving that it's not always the case, but I think, you've definitely seen it Firmino this season that's looked more like the old Firmino that fans were so used to seeing. He's looked a lot more lively in the final third. And, last season, it kind of did feel like you reached the end of, Firmino as part of that front three. It was very much as if Diaz had come in and that was it. Now he'd be taking the third spot. But Firmino's made the most of injuries to a point, He has got more game time. I think it's fair to say just because of the injuries, but he's also earned it as well from his performances. I don't think as many people would have seen him playing as well as he has been this season, just because of he was out of form last year. But fair play to him for turning it around and and just proving that Liverpool that he's still a valued member of the team.
Yeah, another player that got a standing ovation when he went off as well was Harvey Elliot. I think he was really bright today. He gets the assist, but he's also one of the main driving forces to take Liverpool forward in midfield. He's really starting to establish himself as a first-team player, isn't he? Do you think the extent of his inclusion so far this season has been anything to do with a lack of numbers, or do you think he's shown enough quality now for you to say that he would be in there regardless?
It's a difficult one, Elliot, because when he has played, like you said, he's looked bright. He's got the assist today for the first goal. He's had a number of games this season. I think the Newcastle one at home as well. He's really good that day. But I think with Elliot, it's Jordan Henderson's in the squad. I think he plays today instead of Elliot. Obviously, Elliot has benefited from, like you said, from players being out at various times. Yeah. But he's earned his place. To be fair to him, it's not, he's not in the team by luck. But I do think, to a point, he has played slightly too much football, in the sense that I don't think fans would expect him to be playing every game in the Premier League and Champions League and in the Cups. So I think they need to be a little bit careful in terms of not overworking him to the point where he may get an injury just from playing too many games. But I think he's shown real promise, and he should be encouraged by the performances that we've seen from him this season. In the longer term, sort of further down the line, he'd want to be nailing down a starting position. But I think at the moment, we've just got to be encouraged by what we've seen. We not get too carried away, I'd say. He's ahead of the likes of Curtis Jones, who maybe people thought would be, a nailed-on starter by this point in his development. Hasn't quite happened for him. Not in the squad today, so not too sure what that is, what that relates to. We'll have to try and find out. But no, I think it's good signs from Elliot, and just needs to keep it up.
Yeah, I think I just want to have a quick word on Southampton then. Obviously, Southampton, they give Liverpool a go, didn't they? Obviously replied really quickly to Firmino's header in the first half, but also forced Liverpool to get back and defend on occasion, and Alisson was even forced into making a couple of saves.
Yeah, at the start of the game, they were really threatening Liverpool. They got that goal straight away through Che Adams. It's a great ball into the box, which really attacked very well, to be fair to him. After that, they did put a little bit of pressure on, but as soon as Liverpool got that second goal, they sort of, the heads went down and they never really looked like they were going to score really past that. Liverpool piled on the pressure in the second half. They get the third goal as well in the game, and that, I think from that point onwards, it just sort of felt like it was only going to be one outcome, which was Liverpool winning. We've seen it a lot this times this season where Liverpool have gone behind in games. It's been a bit of an uphill battle, leaving themselves too much to do. They get the first goal today, which is a good sign. And although Southampton did reply, like I said, very quickly, Liverpool managed the game very professionally. Bringing on the likes of James Milner only helped that, with his experience and know-how. So, yeah, it's a really professional performance from Liverpool. And, 3 points is the main thing.
Yeah, just before we round up then, Tom, how big of a result was this for Liverpool, heading into this 6-week break? I think we've kind of built ourselves a bit of a platform to work with in terms of targeting that top 4 on the return, haven't we?
Yeah, I think, from this performance, it's sort of a warning, I guess, to the other sides within the division that Liverpool are not, although they haven't been at the best of the season, far from it. They're still up and around the top of the table in 6th place at the moment. And when we come back in after the World Cup, they want to build on that. There may even be players coming in January, transfers to sort of bolster the squad. So I think Liverpool can be confident of continuing their rise up the table. And the other sides at the top will have to watch the back, because I think, we've seen it before when Liverpool put a run together. They can really, 10, 15 wins. Yeah. They've done it before, and you wouldn't put it past them to do it again this season.
You wouldn't put it past them. We will see what happens upon the return. Get all your post-match reaction on the Blood Red channel and Liverpool Echo. I've been Tom Greaves, joined by Tom Cavilla. Massive thanks for coming on, Tom. And we will see you again soon. Thanks for joining in.
Cheers.